So I recently read a book called Evidence and Inquiry by Susan Hack, which she puts forward this idea called Foundherentism, which seeks a kind of middle ground between the epistemological schools of Foundationalism and Coherentism, which are the two main schools. She also addresses things like reliabilism, but I'm not really going to get into that. So foundationalism is the idea that that knowledge is founded on certain basic beliefs, which give a one-directional support to derived beliefs derived from that basic thing. And a lot of foundational schools, like she cites that of C.I. Lewis, start from empiricism. That you start with the evidence of the senses, and then that gives you your basic beliefs, and then from there you derive your beliefs. There's a lot of problems. I'm not going to go through the sort of debunking of these things, but so the other school is coherentism, which is that justification is a matter of mutual support among beliefs. And so if there's a lot of contradictions in your belief system, then you're a lot less justified. But then the problem with coherentism is it doesn't really account for experience. The beliefs are kind of hanging up in the air, not grounded in the evidence of our senses. And so she argues this is a false dichotomy, and you don't need basic beliefs, but you do need experience. And so she uses this crossword puzzle analogy, where crossword puzzle, you have mutual support among different words, and some of them support a lot of other words, and others are sort of hanging off on the periphery. So there's different levels of mutual support, and then the clues to the crossword puzzle are experiential evidence. And this is really because it's not that experience gives you an unfiltered view. I mean, it takes into account like the myth of the given, and cognitive biases, and the problems of our perception that have been pointed out by people like Dennett, especially. But so the idea is that our experience is actually. It's not so much that it proves the belief as much as it gives a hint as to the belief. And so for her, it is that justification involves mutual support among independently supported beliefs. That is the degree to which the other beliefs on which you rely for mutual support are also supported by empiricism, that increases the justification of beliefs. And so for her, also justification is a matter of degree. She does have it's a fallibilist theory. That is, we might never actually arrive at absolute certainty, but that's okay because we can be confident in a belief to the degree that it is mutually supported by other beliefs which are hinted at by empirical evidence. She has a really interesting take on science too, which I've gotten really into philosophy of science, and so she takes Karl Popper to task as I think any philosopher of science should, and points out that falsificationism is not really a good criterion. And she says, she also agrees with Lakatos and Feyerabend that there is no real demarcation point for science. What she says instead is that science does have a privileged position, but not because of any sort of different methodology. It's just that they have a really good track record of doing good epistemology. But the standards of good epistemology are not different for science than for other pursuits. We all can use good epistemology, and science is just really good at doing it. And another thing I found interesting in that book is it seems to really jive well with the actor network theory that I described in my video about Bruno Latour, which is talked about the network of quasi-objects, and how modernity just has a much bigger network with more mutual support among the different quasi-objects. So, I mean, on the surface, it sounds kind of like correlationism, or not correlation, but coherentism. But the point is, it's not just mutual support among beliefs or concepts, but among quasi-objects, which are both conceptual and physical or empirical or what have you. So, and she actually makes a similar point to Latour that pre-scientific societies actually, are different by degree rather than kind. They're still using empiricism. When they attribute thunder to the sun god, or to Zeus or whatever. The idea is that they have a model to explain their experience. They're using both of those things, and there's mutual coherence among them. And so the thing with modern science, we have a much larger network of mutual support among empirically founded or empirically grounded beliefs. So that gives us a closer picture of reality to than people with a much smaller network could do. So I'll leave it there for now. Peace.